So, aims of the session then, this reading paper, question 4, foundation, and the overlap for the literary text. Question 8, foundation, and question 1 on the higher paper. Okay, starting off with les mots de question. Choosing these question words here, they figure in the foundation. Reading question, question 4. So we need to understand what these questions mean. I'm going to give you a couple of moments to have a think. If you know any of them, pop them in the chat. I'm sure Madam Lloyd will let you know if you're right. You can pause the recording at any point so that you can have more time if you want to do that. So you can always press pause if you feel you haven't had enough time to answer. So we have qu'est-ce que, à quelle heure, où, combien de, quand, and quelle. Once more, qu'est-ce que, à quelle heure, où, combien de, quand, quelle. Quelle. Okay, let's have a little look at these questions. Qu'est-ce que? Qu'est-ce que means what? À quelle heure? At what time? À quelle heure? Où? Where? Combien de? How much? How many? Quand? When? And quelle? Different spellings depending on singular, plural, masculine, feminine. Yeah? What? Okay. Okay, let's have a little look at some reading tips before we start. We're going to read the instructions. That's obviously something we need to do, and make sure we understand. Really read the instructions really carefully. Check that you understand what you're having to do. Read the text for gist. So have a really quick look over it and see generally if you sort of have an idea what's going on. Then look at those questions that you have. And also focus on how many marks are there for each question, because that will give you a clue as to how many details you're looking for. Read the text again carefully. Underline keywords. Some people like to color code, your choice, whatever works for you. And be ready to deduce meaning and draw inference. It might be a roundabout way in the text. It might not be a direct word. It might be something explained in more detail. Yeah, where you can, we have some of that tonight. We'll have a little look at that. And we're going to be ready to write notes on the script. Yeah, so you can annotate. Check the tenses. That's really key. And one last thing, it sounds obvious, but don't panic. Yeah, so don't panic if you can't find the answers straight away. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Sometimes when you reread the passage carefully, it all starts to make sense. And at the end of the day, you do sometimes have to have an educated guess. Particularly, with the literary passages, sometimes there'll be words there that might not be, everyday normal words that you are used to. There might be some higher register words there. Okay, so just don't panic. See if you can work it out from the context. Okay, let's start with question 4 here. It's a 2019 foundation paper, and what I would like you to have a go at doing first of all is let's look at the instructions. Okay, so it's lis cet email de Kevin and réponds aux questions en français. So we know lis means read. So it's a reading paper. We're expecting to do that. And it's Kevin's email, isn't it? And we're answering réponds aux questions. So answer the questions en français. So answers need to be in French. So be careful with this. Sometimes the questions ask you to answer in English, sometimes in French. If the questions are in English, answer in English. If the questions are in French, you know, you're going to be answering in French, but it also tells you what language you should be using. So always check that. Okay, the first thing you can do is have a quick gist read. That's what we would do. Very quickly read through that text. And then I want you to think about underlining the different tenses and verbs here. What are the verbs? What tenses are they? Have a think. See if you can spot. There'll be a verb in each sentence. In any full sentence, you will be looking for a verb. And maybe you might want to put a little symbol as to what tense it is. PRE or something like that for present. Or maybe you use PAS, I don't know, past, you know, whatever works for you. And maybe future and F or FUT for future. Just give yourself an idea what tenses there are. There are also things like time indicators we need to think about. You know, it's not just the tenses. You will get some words that will give you clues too, like yesterday, tomorrow, today, for example. In fact, we have all three of these words in this short text here. All three are there. So that again gives you a clue. If it's yesterday, we're talking about the past, aren't we? If we're talking about today, it's now, it's happening now, so it's present. And then maybe in the future, you know, what you're going to be doing tomorrow, yeah? Or what you're going to, sometimes it's what you're going to do later as well, yeah? So later in the day, so that would be future too. Okay, so let's have a little look. Underlining the different tenses that we can see here. So, and time indicators too. Okay, so je passe une fin de semaine. Je passe, present tense here. Yeah, I'm spending. Je passe. And then you've got hier. You see here we've got it circled because that was yesterday. Remember, we need to know these key time indicators. And what happened yesterday? The verbs we're also looking at here are j'ai passé du temps and j'ai visité les musées. So j'ai passé du temps dans les grands magasins à faire des courses. Okay, et j'ai visité les musées. Okay, so j'ai passé, j'ai visité, and it was hier, yesterday, and we know these two tenses here are the past, yeah? And then we've got je vais aller. What you're going to be what you're going to do. Je vais aller en parc à thème. Je vais y rester toute la journée. So later on. So this is aller plus infinitive. Okay, so future. What you're going to be doing in the future. So we're going to go to a park and we're going to stay there. Yeah, toute la journée. Careful with this one. This is sounds like journey, doesn't it? This doesn't mean journey. Toute la journée, a little false friend here. And then we've got je m'amuse and the present tense again. And nous allons aller au cinéma demain. Nous allons aller au cinéma demain. Okay. So again, future here. We're going to go. Yeah. So future. Aller. Present tense of aller plus infinitive to say we're going to do something. So, amitié, Kevin. So here we have then the tenses all underlined, and we've got these clue words here, the key words, aujourd'hui, demain, and hier, the time indicators telling us when it's happening. So we come to the questions that we have, and the questions are in French. Let's have a little look at underlining the French question words in these questions, please. So they're the ones we started off with, you know, the question words at the beginning. Can you see which words are what we call the question words here? Give you a moment. If you're thinking about this, you'd be sort of underlining them, or you can type maybe one or two question words. You haven't got time to type all of them. But if you want to spot one or two question words, you can pop them into the chat. Okay, so we have these words here, which are for letter A, sentence or question A rather. Où est-ce que? Est-ce que is always showing as a question, isn't it? And où, remember, is a question word. So où est-ce que Kevin passe le weekend? So in B, the question is right there at the start again. Qu'est-ce qu'il, qu'est-ce que? Combien de temps in this instance? D, quel. And letter E here, quand. Okay, so those are the question words. What do they mean? Do we know what these question words mean? If we know the question words is so important because then we understand the question, we then know what we're looking for in the text as an answer. Yeah, so this really is crucial to know these words. So learn these question words. If you don't know them, make sure you really make a thing of learning them, revise them. Yeah. So, où est-ce que Kevin passe le weekend? Où est-ce que Kevin passe le weekend? Let's have a little look. So, où means where, doesn't it? So, où, where does Kevin passe le weekend? Yeah? So, qu'est-ce qu'il a fait samedi? What did he do? So, il a fait is the past tense here. So, what did he do on Saturday? Okay. Écrit de détail. So, it's asking you for 2 details here. Combien de, remember, is how much or how many. So combien de temps, how much, this here is time. It can also, temps, remember, can mean weather as well, but here it's how much time, because if you put the word weather in here, it just wouldn't make sense, would it? Okay, so how much time va-t-il passer? Is he going? He goes or going. Is he going? Passer, to spend, au parc à thème. And then we've got quel, the other question word, quel, what? And here it's feminine singular because of the word opinion, which is feminine, okay, singular. So, quelle est son opinion du weekend? Écrit en détail, okay. So we're answering what. So what's his opinion of the weekend here? One detail. And the last one here, lettre E, quand est-ce qu'il va aller au cinéma? Quand? Quand est-ce que? Question word there. When? Il va aller, he's going, aller, to go. Yeah, so when's he going to go to the cinema? Okay, so we need to answer these questions in French. Yeah, so I suggest here, this is where you'd pause. Yeah, pause the recording and have a little go at answering these questions in French. They do not need to be full sentences. They're not expecting full sentences. Oh, sorry. Let me just go back a slide. They're not expecting full sentences, but they are expecting, you know, the key information. So question B is, it's got 2 marks. If you notice here, it has 2 marks because it wants 2 details. So there are two things that he did on Saturday. There might be more than 2. You just choose the 2 that you are sure about, okay? Again, for D, it's asking you for 1 detail. So there is more than 1 piece of information, more than 1 opinion of the weekend. Choose the word that you are sure about. You need 1 detail here. Don't write both, just choose the 1, okay? So, where does Kevin spend the weekend? Have a little think as well. These questions go in order, okay, through the text. So do the answers. They're going in a chronological order. So, où est-ce que Kevin passe le weekend? Où est-ce que Kevin passe le weekend? So, let's go through the answer here. Okay, the answer is chez ses copains. They also could have given the answer en Belgique. If we go back to the text a second here, he says, je passe une fin de semaine chez mes copains en Belgique. Yeah, he says, I'm spending the end of the week with my friends, because he's the one writing, isn't he? He's writing this email. He's the one talking here. So he's saying, with my friends. So the question is, where does Kevin spend the weekend? So Kevin spends the weekend with his friends, yeah? So you'd need to change them. If you're going to use chez copain, you'd need to say chez ses copains. You wouldn't have mes, yeah? Chez mes copains. He's not spending the weekend with my friends. He's spending them with his friends, because remember, it's asking you about Kevin now. So you'd need to change that possessive adjective. If you write down en Belgique as an answer, that's fine. You can take that directly from the text. There's nothing to change there. Yeah? So, qu'est-ce qu'il a fait samedi? Deux détails. So 2 details required here. And it's the past. Okay. 2 bullet points. That also gives you a clue. They're looking for 2 answers here. So, il a fait des courses. That's one thing that he did. He went shopping. Yeah. Il a fait des courses. They will accept also faire les courses. Yeah. To do the shopping. Okay. But past tense, il a fait. Qu'est-ce qu'il a fait samedi? So, il a fait des courses. And il a visité des musées. So they do want you to put a verb in here, okay? They do want an action word for the full marks, yeah? So il a visité des musées, or visité les musées. Okay, combien de temps va-t-il passer au parc à thème? We've got how much or how many here, and it's how much time is he going to spend? And the answer in the text is une journée, un jour, or toute la journée. Remember, une journée is not a journey, but it's a day. So any of these will be acceptable as an answer. Une journée, un jour, or toute la journée, all day. Okay, but don't write down aujourd'hui or dimanche, because that's not the answer. They're not looking for that. Although they have those words in the text, those aren't the answer, yeah? So how much time is he spending at the theme park? He's spending a day. Quelle est son opinion du weekend? Écrit en détail. So we're looking for one answer here for his weekend. And his answer could, or his opinion was formidable or fatigant. Either of those are acceptable for 1 mark. So if you're unsure of, is formidable the answer? You're unsure what it means, and therefore you're not sure, is he giving an opinion there? Maybe fatigant is a word you recognize more. So, put the one you're sure about, yeah? And then the last one here, quand est-ce qu'il va aller au cinéma? Now, in the text, it says demain. We know what day it is today. Aujourd'hui is mentioned, it's dimanche. So if you wanted to say lundi, because if you know in the text the day is dimanche, you could write lundi, but you don't really need to. Just keep it. It says he's going tomorrow, so that's probably the easiest answer to give. Demain. Okay. So we get all of the marks there. Okay, if we're doing what we've just seen here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marks in total for this. Not, as you can see there, not needing to have full sentences. Okay. So let's have a little look at where we found these answers. Yeah, for each question, a moment. So that was A. Chez mes copains en Belgique. J'ai passé du temps à faire des courses. J'ai visité les musées. That was B. And he says, aujourd'hui, it's dimanche. Yeah, so today is Sunday. Je vais y rester toute la journée. Je vais aller à un parc à thème. So that's where he's going to the theme park. You need to find out how long. Je vais y rester. He's going to stay there toute la journée. Quel formidable, mais très fatigant. Quel weekend formidable, mais très fatigant. So either of those for his opinion. And then the last one, he's going demain. Nous allons aller au cinéma demain. Yeah? Okay. So read it through slowly in your time. Check with the questions as well. Again, and check, you've understood where these answers are and what these answers mean. But keywords like hier, demain, aujourd'hui help, and the actual tenses. Okay, so if it's present tense in the question, it's present tense in the answer, and so on. Activities in the past, what did he do? So past tense and so on. Okay. So let's have a little look again for some tips a moment. The best thing to do really for the literary texts that we're going to come on to next is to really practice the different styles of literary texts. So read as many authors as you can, different authors. There are extracts in the textbooks you use and so on, extracts from novels, poems, etc. So just sort of read as much as you can. Deduce meaning. You don't need to understand every word as well. So if you're working out the meaning, read the text for gist. Remember, you have a quick glance through it. Read the questions carefully, and then you read the text again very carefully. Focus on tenses and look for keywords to help locate the answers. So keywords will find you, give you an idea where the answers are. And again, as with that text we just saw, that shorter text, the answers do appear in order in the text. Okay, for this next question, we're answering in English. So it depends on whether it's questions in English or French. Okay, so here again, I've underlined in English because it does say to you in bold what language you should be answering in. So be careful, because when you're switching back and forth, it can be a little bit confusing. Sometimes people do get muddled. If you do get all the answers right, but you put the answers in the wrong language, unfortunately, you will not get any marks. I know some teachers advocate for students to do all of the the French answers first, the questions which are in French and answers in French, or the other way around, do all the English ones first and leave the French ones till the end. It's entirely up to you what works for you. If you want to do it systematically in the order of the paper, just make sure you got the language correct, yeah, that you're meant to be answering in. So here then, we're doing this overlap literary question. So it's question 8 on the foundation. I've chosen the 2019 paper. It's question 1 on the higher, which again, 2019, okay? So it's the same question on both papers. It's just a different question number. So again, with this text here, read what it's asking you to do. Read the instructions. So read the extract adapted from Marie Cardinal's novel Au Pays de mes racines, and answer the questions in English, it's saying. So we got a bit of an idea what it's about, maybe from the title. Have a little look at the photo. That gives you sort of a bit of an idea what's going on possibly. But again, scan the text to sort of work out the topic. What is this text all about? Just have a quick look through it. So you're looking for gist. And then again, look out for some time indicators, like maybe seasons. There are a number of seasons mentioned here in this text. And just be careful of negatives, yeah, because they give the opposite, don't they, in a sentence. So, dans mon pays, les saisons ne sont pas comme en France. So they're not like they are, but they are not les saisons, the seasons, okay? So that's something just to be aware of, any negatives, any time indicators and so on. But you would read through the text, okay, like you've got here. And again, give yourself some time to do this. You can pause the recording and have a good read through the text. Annotate wherever you want to. So let's have a little think. What tenses or tense is or are used here in this text? Maybe underline the verbs, the action words, and decide on the tense. Okay, if we have a quick look here, the ones that have been underlined here, they're all in the present tense. This is a descriptive piece of text. Yeah, they're describing what the seasons are like in the countries mentioned. Okay, and the weather and so on. And you find that the verbs which have been underlined are all in the present tense here. Yeah, describing mainly the seasons. Yeah. So present tense. Okay. The next thing I suggest you do is underline some of the key words in the text. Okay. So have a little look in your questions that you're being asked and see if you can find questions are in English. So the keywords in the questions are in English. See if you can find some of those words in your text. Yeah. So that gives you an idea. If you can do that, that gives you an idea where the answers are. And remember, they are in order of the question. The questions are leading you through that text. So do that, do those questions in order. Attempt, to read through them in order. Don't start at the bottom upwards or anywhere in the middle. So try and look through them. You can still go back if there's something you don't understand. But I look out for keywords like different in letter A, Algeria, autumn, winter, France. See if you can find any of these words. And if you can see here, I've sort of color coded it just to sort of give you an idea. Yeah, it's mentioning autumn and winter here at the beginning. It's talking about the seasons, les saisons here. It's mentioning Algérie, yeah, en Algérie, en France. So France and Algeria are mentioned. So the answer is here in this first part. B, how does the ground change when the sun comes out? One detail. So that implies there's more than one answer there. You need to give one detail, okay? Again, if you don't know the word ground, don't panic. You surely understand sun, yeah? We know sun. So looking for sun here, and it mentions le soleil here, doesn't it? So the answer for B is going to be where you see the blue because of color coding. Okay. What you need to wear. So here we're sort of thinking of clothing, aren't we? Items of clothing. So in our head, we're starting to look at thinking of, shirt, t-shirt, jumper, shoes, anything. It could be footwear, it could be clothes, things like t-shirts, jumpers. So a clothing word. Now, they might not use the word porter to wear. Sometimes they will. Okay, so you might be listening out, looking out for porter to wear. Here they don't actually give you porter, but they give you mettre. Mettre as in to put. And the item of clothing, it's for your feet, chaussures, yeah, chaussures. Okay, and then day. How do we know that winters in Algeria can be cold? Write one detail. How do we know? Okay, so here it talks about the word. It gives you the word froid in the text, and it talks about what happens. This is where you're deducing things and the inference. Okay, so what are you doing here? When it's cold weather, what sort of if it's cold, what can you have? You can have snow, for example. What might you be doing? What's happening to the person? So that's what we're looking out for here for D. Unusual about spring. So again, can we think of spring? And we're looking for Algeria. Maybe they don't mention Algeria because they've been talking about it already. But they'll mention the word spring. Okay. And yeah, what happens here in springtime? So have a look here in the text. We've got le printemps. So that's where the answer is here. And there's more than one answer. Again, you only need to put one detail. Okay, the saying one is more than one answer. So choose the one you're sure about. And then what does Marie say about the summer in Algeria? So again, summer, we need to understand, we need to know the seasons and recognize that l'été is summer. And then here, if you've got été, you know that the answer isn't close by. Yeah. So again, Algeria isn't mentioned here, but it's been speaking about it already. Okay. So key questions, keywords in questions, and then see they're in English, but see if you can find them in the text in French at all, or something similar, a synonym maybe, looking out for something to do with the question. Yeah, so something to do with the question, and gives you an idea where the answer is. So really, really important. Remember the answers are in the same order as the questions. Yeah, so don't forget that. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a moment to have a little think about, and again, you can pause it here, okay? You can pause the recording and have a little think about your answers. What are you going to give as answers to this first one? What is different about autumn and winter in Algeria compared to autumn and winter in France? What do you think is going to be an answer for this one? Again, it's one answer required. Okay, so one detail. They accept several answers in a moment. You will see this. If you want to pop one detail in the chat box a moment, or if you prefer to just do it in your own time, then up to you entirely. But if you want to quickly pop something in the chat box for A, even if it's just one keyword. So there are lots of possibilities here. So, les saisons, dans mon pays, les saisons ne sont pas comme en France. L'automne et l'hiver se ressemblent chez moi en Algérie. So, l'automne et l'hiver se ressemblent chez moi en Algérie. One detail required. So they're not the same. So ne sont pas comme en France. Negative here. So you could have said this, they're not the same. Yeah. There's no difference. If you want to say something like that, that's possible as well. There's no difference. And you might also mention il pleut beaucoup, et souvent un vent glacé. Those could also be part of the answer. Okay, I haven't underlined them in red there, just noticed that, but you could have put that down as an answer for A. So icy wind blows on the sea, and so on. Let me see if so. Oops, like there. I'm just underlining it a little bit more in red there. Not a very good line, but okay. So, B, how does the ground change when the sun comes out? You need one detail here. So, le soleil éclaire une terre rouge où de petits torrents et de petites rivières se forment. So, la terre devient rouge. Rouge is the color, so it becomes like a red color is a possible answer. Or you might mention les petits torrents ou de petites rivières qui se forment. Yeah. So again, in English, you'd need to translate this. So you'd be saying that there are, little streams or rivers that appear. Yeah. So that could be part of your answer. Yeah. What you need to wear, remember we said we're looking out for some clothing here. So here, il faut mettre, remember mettre is to put on, des chaussures, so shoes here for 1 mark. And then we've got day. How do we know that winters in Algeria can be cold? One detail here. This is where you're having to sort of work it out a little bit. So you've got cold, and you only need to put one detail. So if you don't understand claquer des dents quand on va au lit, it might be something that you're not familiar with. Claquer des dents, you might understand dents, but you're unsure what claquer les dents is. But you understand les montagnes sont poudrées de neige. Maybe unsure of poudrée, but you're familiar with montagne and neige. Okay, so choose the ones that you're sure of, but your teeth might be chattering. Yeah, you get that that sort of chattering feeling of your teeth. Could be one if you've worked that one out, or like a dusting of snow on the mountains. Yeah, poudre de neige. So snow on the mountains, and then we've got here for lettre E, what is unusual about spring in Algeria? One detail needed. So, printemps, here is the answer down here. So, printemps arrive et transforme le paysage si vite qu'on croit va bouger et vibrer la terre. Il dure 15 jours seulement. So, your answer, your decision as to which answer you give here, you only need one, don't put two down, just see which one you think you're more sure of. So le paysage se transforme si vite. Paysage, remember, is the scenery, the countryside, yeah? So it sort of changes si vite, really quickly. Or you might decide to say, il dure 15 jours seulement. 15 jours, remember, translates as 2 semaines, or a fortnight, yeah? So it's 2 weeks. That's how we say 2 weeks, 15 jours. So it lasts for 2 weeks. So it lasts a fortnight. One of those answers. And then we've got the last one here. What does Marie say about the summer in Algeria? And she mentions l'été qui dure des mois. So it lasts for months, yeah? So that is what they're looking for as an answer here for this last one. L'été qui dure des mois. Okay. 6 marks in total, as we said before. Those are the answers, so you can check them afterwards. Pause the recording, have a go at them at some point, and then you can go back and look at them, check them through. But I think one key thing to bear in mind is they are all in order as you're going along. Yeah, so the answers in chronological order. But if you need to leave something out and then leave it for a bit, you think you know where it is in the text, but you're not quite sure, just leave it and carry on, and then you go back to it afterwards. Just make sure that you answer all of them, even if you're having an educated guess. Yeah, so maybe you didn't understand, you didn't catch B, so leave it for a moment, carry on, do the others, and go back to B and have another look. Yeah. Especially once you've worked out what the other ones, what the other answers are. Okay, so looking through here where we've got our answers. So A, dans mon pays, les saisons ne sont pas comme en France. L'automne et l'hiver se ressemblent. Chez moi en Algérie, il pleut beaucoup et souvent un vent glacé vient de la mer. So glacé here meaning, an icy wind. Yeah, vient de la mer comes from the sea. When you're doing these practice questions and you're looking at different texts, do lots of practice ones. And what I suggest you do, try and work it out. But if you can't, when you're practicing by yourself, you can check something in a dictionary. Do that, build up your vocabulary bank so that you try without it. And then if you really can't work it out, look it up. But vocabulary is really key to the reading, and these literary texts are no different from any other reading texts. Yeah, but vocabulary can be sometimes it can be a little bit more specialized, a little bit higher register, so it might be trying to work out from the context more sometimes, and not to be too worried if there's a word you don't understand. Yeah, see if you can work it out from the rest of the text. So they here, as you can see, it's in blue, color coding it for you. Il faut mettre des chaussures, like we said. And this one is about the teeth chattering. Claquer des dents. Might not be an expression but maybe you'll know about les montagnes sont poudrées de neige. Yeah, again, poudrées may be unsure of, but neige, powdered with, dusted with, poudré. So have a think of a word in English like powder, you know, so to give you that powder, sort of a dusting, sort of perhaps you know, just thinking of another word in English that might help you work it out. And that is D. And let's look at these last two. So we've got le printemps arrive et transforme le paysage si vite. And then we've got il dure 15 jours seulement. So either of those answers. Remember, you only need one. And l'été qui dure des mois. So as you can see really nicely from that color coding, it's very evident how it's all in an order, isn't it? You know, all of those answers. So let's go back to what we're doing here. We are answering questions in English. So to summarize now, if the questions are in English, we answer in English. If the questions are in French, we need to answer in French. And remember, the marks for each question link to the number of details that you're looking for. You need to look out for the cognates, also, you know, false friends, and there are sometimes you have to deduce, there are inferences you have to think about, yeah? Check the tenses and the time indicators. They are really crucial for understanding what's going on in the text. And at the end of the day, you read it more than once, you look at the questions more than once, you take an educated guess, yeah, at the end. But maybe, you know, as you check through the rest of your paper, once you've completed your other questions, you'll have time to go back and you might then, you know, work it out. So never leave anything blank. Always make a guess, you know, at the end of the day, a good guess. And don't get bogged down with every word, and don't panic when you don't understand a word. You know, you don't need to know every word to work out the answers. So sometimes, you know, the keywords that you need are just the words that they are the answers. So, you know, you might not know some of the other words, but it doesn't stop you working out the answer quite often. Well, merci, au revoir, bonne chance.